All right, everyone, we have to talk about Faith Goldy being banned simultaneously. This is happening more and more from Facebook and Instagram, of course, Zuckerberg services. At this point, it's like Facebook is so vestigial. They started banning people from Instagram, too, connected with that, because more people actually give a damn about Instagram as a platform. That's where the big money is for Zuckerberg now. He's already gobbled up people's personal info on Facebook and packaged it up to sell to company after company, but now he wants people's more of their dick pics and stuff, so he has to turn to Instagram. It's like when they bought that up, it was like, yeah, I wonder if he has faith in the platform that technically is its own competitor of the one that he just bought up and then retooled a little bit. Now, Faith Goldy's been banned from those services in the last 48 hours. It's like she's been banned a bunch of other places too. I think she's still on YouTube, I think. I can't remember if her Twitter got banned yet, but I mean, she's lost a half a dozen accounts. And this conforms to what I said would happen years ago, which is that they're going after primarily the people that do on the ground sort of stuff. And the first warning sign was Patreon, with Manifest Observable Behavior and Lauren Southern. What they said is basically, it's not the views, it's not the words, it's just the actions that we're looking at. Now, of course, they've totally changed. Like with Sargon and stuff when they banned him. Obviously, their initial explanation of their terms of service was deeply flawed and completely wrong. They didn't even change it demonstrably thereafter for the most part. They simply started applying their rules differently. Twitter has done this as well. Well, what's happening is that people who do on-the-ground reporting and any form of activism keep getting deplatformed. The reason for this is quite clear. It's because they are the main competitor. If they were to get together, let's say that all of these, maybe famous figures that do this sort of thing. If you had like a conjunction of the Lauren Southerns, the Faith Goldies, the Milos, the Gavins, the Crowders and stuff, people who go out and sort of do things, whether it's in a strictly formal fashion or more satire, more comedy, whether it's more on the activistic end or more on the reporting side, like the more straight up reporting, if they were to get together and syndicate themselves, so to speak, if they formed a sort of collective, and they pooled their money and they started investing, they could become a massive competitor to the legacy media. They could completely destroy them. The thing is that then also props up tens of thousands of other people who do more of the commentary and analysis thing. Like, my big breakthrough was really analyzing polls and making political predictions, not going to political rallies and filming things. When some of these people, though, like Tim Pool's talking about literally like buying an armored van to sleep in, shit like that. It's like, yeah, and Tim Pool is probably the most nervous person within political analysis at this point, because he's watching all these other people that, as far as the physical actions go, maybe not the belief side, but as far as the physical actions go, are very fundamentally similar to him. He's also a workhorse, so he's probably like, fuck it at this point. And many other people are nervous too, and they should be. Here's the thing. Even if I'm optimistic long-term about the fact that we're going to get through this, that alt-tech is going to continue to grow, decentralization will continue, the age of censorship will start to recede, it'll start to pull back a little bit, there will probably be, it's like some of these companies I can see in the future saying, well, that was a dark period, we've learned from our mistakes, yeah, and we welcome, out their opinions now and don't have a problem with it. I can see that happening, but that doesn't mean that a lot of people don't have fucked up shit happening to them in the meantime. I mean, they're going to have to be martyrs for fucking years. Yes, I believe that people like Faith Goldy and Lauren Southern and Tommy Robinson and all these other people are martyrs. They are fun. I don't have to agree with their fucking political views. That doesn't mean that they should be deplatformed. The idea of the internet was that you debated people that you disagreed with. You didn't try to shut down debate. That makes you look childish, number one. And number two, corporations certainly are not the groups that I want doing that. We've been through this before. We went through this with fucking television. And TV is dying. Why? Because the government came in and hyper-regulated things, because advertisers and moneyed interests convinced the American public there was a problem. They started cracking down, everything got centralized, and then what little talent was left was squished out and went to on-demand services and Sirius and XM-style radio, like satellite radio, and now the internet. It got squeezed right out of television, basically killed it off. Who do you even, who has a newspaper subscription anymore? Who listens to terrestrial radio unless they're commuting to work, and even then half the time, what do? You plug in your phone for a streaming service now, don't you? Those old guard corporations either changed form drastically and survived in some cases. Like, have you heard of iHeartRadio lately? Or they died off completely. And so what this is part of that sort of the symptom of a larger disease, which is corporations trying to maintain fiscal relevance and trying to maintain power. They're going to use a million moral platitudes. Faith Goldy is bigoted. Faith Goldy foments violent ideology or some stupid shit like that. That's the excuses that they give, but that's not the real reason why they're engaging in this behavior. It's just like, and Corbis pointed this out. You know, that streamer, there's like, she's like a teenager and stuff. YouTube has turned off her comments, you know, site-wide. And they did this because they're like, oh my God, there are perverts on the site. Well, we got to shut down comments on kids' videos or videos about toys and stuff that even involves a lot of adults and also false positives like every other algorithm on YouTube. And it was pointed out, it's like the site obviously has an ulterior motive because, I mean, Google can't possibly be dumb enough to think that that's actually going to solve the problem because it doesn't. All it does is alienate a lot of creators. So there had to be some other reason why they wanted to do that. And when you look at news stories from the last 2 years talking about how these groups are like, well, comments shouldn't exist on the internet. Comment functions just lead to debate. And it's bad. It's wrong. Think there's bullying and bad things there. We should probably just get rid of them. Oh, well, now I think I know where they might have gotten the idea from and used it as an excuse. They're just going to peel it back layer by layer. You watch. The next step will be that they'll shut comments off on videos that are you know, edgy or so, and it won't just be you know, limited state videos. They're already doing it. Tommy Robinson, everything he's got on the site is in restricted mode. They're going to start doing that. They'll probably eventually shut comments off on my videos because of my toxic audience or something. There'll be some BuzzFeed article. Here's a list of the top 20 YouTubers who have Nazis commenting on their stuff. Advertisers should be warned. And even if you don't take the ad revenue, it's not going to make a difference. That's the sort of bullshit that we're going to have to sludge through for the next couple of years. But long term, yeah, optimistic still. Liberty always wins. Decentralization is inevitable. Look, technology is driving it forward faster than it can be fought against. It's just a matter of needing the next epoch of technology. It's almost here already. It's going to be some great times. So yeah, Faith Goldy, I feel very sorry for her. It does, it just gives her more name exposure, though ultimately on the platform she's left on, which is, you know, largely, in a lot of cases, people have been relegated just to alt tech. But those platforms are still growing. Look, you know, it's funny because analytically, like I'm looking at YouTube, the great slowdown of content, they've obviously manipulated the algorithms in a way that doesn't favor my specific kind of material. Probably because I compete with a lot of priority news creators, and so when I release something, it's getting less, it's getting seen by fewer people, at least on search. I have a feeling that on the recommended side, it's probably about the same as before, but I don't think I'm on trending or up next or anything like that ever either, because the content is edgy. It's too edgy for basically a bunch of fucking children, I guess. Yeah, but I mean, I'm looking at that, and then I'm looking at all the alt tech presence. They're still growing rapidly, so it's like, yeah, half a dozen of one and 12 of the other, I guess. Yeah. And Faith Goldy's had this problem before, and it's funny because a lot of like the further right people are like, isn't she, I believe, Jewish as well? So when she gets called a Nazi, it's always very funny. That's about all. Peace out.